Let's talk about this Alastor wig. I started with the undercut, and I didn't really need this area for stability, so I could prioritise elasticity and breathability. So I could keep the adjustable wefted standard wig base and add extra wefts for volume before I cut in the layers for the undercut. There's a video on YouTube showing how I styled a Leon Kennedy wig, which tells you a bit more about how to do an undercut. Feel welcome to head over there. There is an extra weft here between every two wefts. I removed all the wefts from the top of the wig because I needed to replace them with red wefts, and the base wig started out fully black. And of course I needed these red wefts for this delightful inverted bob cut. The top of the wig is quite solid compared to the bottom of the wig, so compared to the undercut, and that's because I needed to make sure these ear hair thingies and these little antlers had a super secure attachment surface because they are magnetized. You know, I like magnets. You've seen my Princess Peach video. These can be popped off for travel and for maintenance, and in case this wig's owner ever decides to go like mega antler mode. Those who've watched the show will know what I mean. But at the same time, they're really secure, so they're not going to topple off during wear. I can literally pick up this wig by the ears because the magnets are that strong. They are neodymium magnets. They can support 8 kilograms each. I was just doing it myself. So they're going to be really secure during wear. They're not going to go anywhere. And they're glued and sewn into place so that they can't be pulled off by their own strength. Now, for the antlers, the magnets are much, much smaller because I had a lot less surface area to work with. Just that little end in there. They are smaller magnets of exactly the same type, though because they are small, they are inherently weaker. But I'm also asking them to do significantly less. This is a lot lighter. These are made of EVA foam and foam clay. But just to be certain, I did build a lock and key functionality into the antlers. You can see there's this little stack here which slots inside this groovy hole in the bottom of the antler, and they just pop on like that. This stack doesn't just have a magnet at the top. This stack is actually made of magnet, and the strength of stacked magnets increases with each added magnet up to the point where the height of the magnet equals the width of a single magnet. So we're getting a lot more strength and a lot more stability. I like to plan redundancies into these wigs. I want to make sure this isn't going to go anywhere. The whole point is convenience. So whilst the antlers are all foam, these are fabric. I made the base out of felt, stitched it together from my own custom pattern, and then used toy stuffing inside them to fill them out, give them a shape. And then all these hair is then glued on row by row, layer by layer in the appropriate colour. And I like to try and think about attachment points when I'm gluing the hair on to make sure it's rational based on hair growth patterns. So for the ears, for instance, I glued rows and rows and rows going round, but not strictly keeping to the same layer each time. I'd stagger it like laying bricks. And that same is true, of course, for all these sections here and the way they are laid in layers. At the bottom of this inverted bob, we have this very sharp colour change. And I thought I was going to airbrush it initially when I started working on this wig, but I did a test section. I didn't like the effect the airbrush paint had on the texture of the fibres. I wanted the fibres to keep a lot more movement, the sort of movement you expect from hair, whereas I found the airbrush paint made them a little too stiff. So I went back to a really old school synthetic wig dyeing method, which is using a permanent marker to hand colour fibres. And I specifically used a chisel sharpie for this, and then I literally just went in section by section, hair by hair, and I coloured in each of those little pieces of hair so that they'd all be black. But it was really, really easy to keep a tidy line by doing it this way. I had full control with the pen of where I was going to put that dye. Follow for more wig tips, and don't forget to be more shonen.